2014, a man named Thomas Duncan from Liberia flew to Dallas unaware that he was suffering from a horrible virus known as Ebola. His nurse, Nina Pham, caught the disease from him but survived. However, Thomas Duncan lost his battle to the incurable disease. The Ebola virus is known to be systematic, causing the infection to attack every tissue and organ of the body except the skeletal muscles and bones. 97% of people that acquire the virus end up deceased. Many other diseases such as HIV, malaria, and tuberculosis have also affected millions of people in poor rural areas. Infectious diseases are terribly impacting the lives of the poor across the world. According to the Human Developing Report, an estimated 40 million people are living with HIV/AIDS, with 3 million deaths in 2004. Every year there are 350 to 500 million cases of malaria, with 1 million fatalities. Africa accounts for 90% of malarial deaths, and African children account for over 80% of malaria victims worldwide.
Scares like the recent one in Dallas can be prevented if more developed countries, such as the United States, supported third world countries by helping with poverty and living conditions to prevent diseases from occurring. Third world countries include the developing countries of Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Oceania. The more developed countries include the United States, Europe, and Australia. Taking action will not only change the lives of citizens in less developed countries, but also prevent worldwide spreads of disease. Due to the living conditions and poverty of third world countries, the likelihood of the spread of diseases like Ebola is much greater than in more developed countries. International trade, funding, global telecommunication, and education are some of the many solutions for developed countries that can take part in to support poor rural areas.
International trade is a great way to better the conditions and poverty of third world countries. Trade gives access to markets, creates jobs, and encourages growth that will greatly impact the general quality of life. Aid for Trade, an organization that provides financial assistance, works to improve ports for custom facilities for less developed countries. The UN Industrial Development helps countries to manage globalization and reduce poverty. If this continues and others join to support, great change could occur for developing countries. General funding for poverty and living conditions is also another way to support. Organizations such as the OFDC, Opportunities for Developing Countries, raise money to fund third world countries to lessen poverty and create more suitable living conditions. The International Fund for Agriculture, or the IFAD, gives low-interest loans and grants to poor people living in rural areas. The IFAD supports 147 countries, and if more countries continue to be added, conditions of living will begin to be more suitable.
Improving telecommunications will also better the situation of developing countries.
The International Telecommunication Union brings governments and industry together, providing global telecommunication networks and services. The ITU is dedicated to connecting the world, creating a worldwide connection of communication with supporting developing countries and even easier.
The final way to help less developed countries is by improving their education.
Based on enrollment data, about 72 million children of primary school age in the developing world were not in school in 2005. 57% of them were girls. And these are regarded as optimistic numbers. If developed countries would help out, these numbers could improve. Having little education means people of these areas are unaware of diseases they are surrounded by, and means that they have limited health care. Organizations such as the Global Partnership for Education are working to fund developing countries and provide quality education programs. Improving education may be the most beneficial way to support these countries because it will improve their society and enlighten them on ways to cure and prevent diseases they are surrounded by. In conclusion, third world countries are suffering of disease, poverty, and horrible living conditions. Developed countries can support these poor rural areas with international trade, general funding, improving telecommunications, and education. If these actions are taken, widespread diseases will be prevented and poverty will finally decrease.
Causing the infection to attack every...
Developed countries can support these poor rural areas with
Ebola virus.